In today's video, I'm going to show y'all a new creative box that I got from Sonnet's Garden and Blooms. She has a monthly subscription where you get a box filled with all kinds of DIY products. Some of these products in this box are exclusive to Sonnet and her creators. Each box is packed carefully with different DIY products that you can sample and use just to see if you want to try different paint colors, different paint textures. She gives you an assorted variety of different paint colors, and these right here all coordinate really well together for the fall season. This one was really cute because she even threw in a really cute little bracelet that is adjustable to any size wrist. It says, "Have courage and create." So let's just do that. Let's create some things that are provided in this box and let's have some fun. I picked this wooden tray up at Goodwill for 99 cents. I'm going to try out some of the new paint that Sonnet put in this month's subscription box, and it's called Woodwick and it's by Fusion. This is a beautiful brown paint and it is so pretty for the fall season. I'm just going to go over the wooden tray and I'm going to give it a couple of layers and I'm going to let it dry. I'm going to bring it inside and I'm going to show you what we can do to it to add a graphic to it that we can remove for the seasons, and we can style this now out for fall, and then like I say, we can replace this graphic when Christmas comes and put another paper in for the Christmas season. I'm using this beautiful piece of Monahan paper, and I'm using this because it's thick. You also could use decoupage paper, but I felt like I would have had to paint the inside of the tray white, so my decoupage paper would have a white background and that brown wouldn't show through. So that's why I'm using this thicker style paper, and we don't have to glue it in. We can remove it when fall ends. You know, this also would be good for Christmas because it's got a really versatile graphic on it. But if you want to put a different graphic in it, this can be removable. You don't have to glue it down. I just scored it down really good with my fingers, and I did not cut it with the scissors except just to get some excess paper. But I scored it really good with my fingers, and then I just gently tore it. And then that way I didn't have to risk getting crooked with my scissors and cut it to where it wouldn't fit inside the tray. Now I'm going to take a picture frame that I had in my donation box. I have so many frames, y'all, that I had to declutter some of them. And I had this in the box and was about to take it to Goodwill until I had another vision for it and I pulled it back out. We're going to use this beautiful orange crush paint that was in the creative box. First, I want to give the frame a brown base since it's white because I do want to distress it and make it look rustic for fall. So to give it a brown base, I had some espresso Rust-Oleum spray paint on hand. Now I'm going to go over it with that orange crush paint and give it a couple of layers and let it dry. This frame is almost dry, but you can see there's some areas in the darker areas that are still wet. But DIY paint does have a clay base in it, so a lot of times when this dries, it's going to have a matte finish. So if you want to make it a little bit more of a satin look, you can go over it always with clear wax. I did go over this frame with clear wax. Now I'm going to go over it with some dark wax. I did go around and wet distress it to bring back some of that brown. I do want this to look more rustic for fall because I'm going to put one of those beautiful watercolor pumpkins that was in the box inside this frame. This right here was a really easy process because once you put the clear wax on, then you apply your dark wax. All you do is get a paper towel and you can remove as much of the dark wax as you want to. But the clear wax, if you put that on first, it makes the dark wax manipulate and remove a lot easier. And then you just go around and get the desired amount of wax that you want. Now I'm going to cut out one of these little pumpkin graphics. These right here are absolutely beautiful, and these are exclusive to Sonnet's subscription boxes, so you cannot purchase these anywhere else but from Sonnet. So these are absolutely beautiful. These are created by Connie at the Painted Photographer. She is a very creative and professional artist, and she has some beautiful designs. These right here are no exception, and I love all the colors in these. I'm just using a glue stick and I'm applying it to the glass of the frame, and then I'm just going to put it inside the frame. I'll put the stand back on it, and now this will make a great piece to set out in our fall vignettes. Now, while we're working with our frames, I had this frame and it fits perfect for this size pumpkin. This is probably about a 5x7, so I'm going to use it. I just took the back that was with the frame, and again, using some school glue. You don't even have to use decoupage medium to apply these. And I've just got a little bacquard board that went in the frame, and just liberally apply your school glue, and then just rub your print down using your brayer. This will flatten it out really good, and it'll also work out any of that excess glue. I just cut off the excess paper, and then I'll put it back in the frame, and this is another beautiful piece to set out for fall. Look at this beautiful plaid decoupage paper. This is by Roy Cycled Papers. This right here screams fall to me. So I'm going to take this little pumpkin garland. I think this was a Dollar General piece for $3. I'm just going to go over the front that says Hello Fall and the little pumpkin. I'm going to go over it with a little bit of white chalk paint so that Hello Fall doesn't show through the decoupage paper. Once I got it painted, again, with my glue stick, you could always use Mod Podge or some kind of decoupage medium if you want to go that route. But you really don't have to with these papers. Roll over it with your brayer really well, and then just go around with your finger sander and remove any of the excess paper. Now look how beautiful this little pumpkin is. Eventually I took the tassel off of it, and I want to show you some ideas of how I added to it. But you can leave it the way it was, or you can add to it with anything you may have on hand. I tied a bow twine around the top of the pumpkin stem, and then I went in with some transfers that I had left over and applied a little bit of floral at the top of the stem, and I also put a transfer on it that had some writing on it. But like I say, you use what you have on hand and you add to it if you want to. I also went over it with some dark wax. I photographed it both ways, with the wax and then also without the wax, just so you could see the difference and all the creative ways that you can really add to this piece and have fun with it and just get creative. I want to tell y'all about a fun little thrifting day I had with my friend Susie over at Susie on the Farm. If y'all are not familiar with her YouTube channel, I'm going to leave a link down below. Make sure to go over, follow her channel, and tell her that I sent you over. Y'all will absolutely love Susie. Susie lives about an hour and 10 minutes from where I live, and she drove up and we went thrift shopping together. We went to the Goodwill in my local area in Athens, Alabama. Then she drove us over to a Goodwill Ben's outlet that was near our area also. I had never been, so Susie took me for my first Goodwill Ben outlet trip, and y'all, I had the time of my life. It was so much fun to go in there, dig through those bins, especially with my good friend Susie. So again, make sure to go out and check out Susie on the Farm. Watch her YouTube channel because y'all will love her style. She does so many thrift flips, and she also has a brick and mortar shop she just opened, and she does ship, and she has a website. So make sure to go over and visit Susie. Now here is another pumpkin blank that almost got thrown in the trash. I have upcycled this thing a couple of times, and this is just a Dollar Tree pumpkin blank, but I pulled it back out and thought, you know what? This beautiful decoupage paper right here that was in the creative box, this right here will be absolutely beautiful to go on this pumpkin. Look at the owls, the reindeer, the birds, the butterflies, the sunflowers, the postage stamps, the wildlife, the mallards, y'all, everything you would want for fall or just about any season is on this paper. So this is a great sheet of decoupage paper, and you can do so many projects with it. The only thing I will have to do with this blank pumpkin piece right here is just put some white paint over that brown stem so it doesn't show through the decoupage paper, and using DIY liquid patina, I'm just putting a liberal coat all over my pumpkin. and then that way I will lay over the decoupage paper, and I did cut it down to size before I got started so I wouldn't waste any of the other design on the paper. So then I'm going to roll over it with my brayer really well. You want to let it dry really good, and then once it dries, just go around with your finger sander again and remove the excess paper off the edges. This right here really made a very unique and a beautiful piece that, like I say, I was about to throw this in the trash because I thought, there is no way I can get creative with this little pumpkin blank again. But I think I did. So I'm just going to tie some beautiful velvet ribbon around the stem with a little bit of twine, and look how beautiful this little pumpkin blank turned out that I got at the dollar store. Here's another creative idea to do with those beautiful fall colored paints that come in the creative box. Get some jars, some mason jars. I'm going to use some of this orange crush. This is the first one I did, but instead of painting the outside of our mason jars, we're going to let it paint the inside, and all you want to do is put some paint in the jar. And for the second one I did, I realized if you put just a tiny bit of water, not a lot of water, but just a tiny bit, maybe like a drop or two, it will flow a lot easier. And what you want it to do is just coat the inside of the jar, and I let some of the excess run out on the lid. You can screw the lid on it, turn it upside down for a few minutes, and let a lot of that paint come back out on that lid, and that way you don't waste your paint. And then once a lot of the excess had run out, then I just put it on a piece of clear paper and just set it out and let it dry. Now I'm going to do some with this beautiful blue, and on this one I decided to add a little bit of water, but I added a little bit too much. You don't want it this watery. So if you do mess up and put a little bit too much water in it, just add a little bit more paint to it and you'll be fine. But just make sure you go around the whole jar and you pour, the paint pours all over the jar and covers the glass. Stick some really pretty florals in it and set this out. These right here would be so pretty lined up in all those beautiful fall paint colors. Y'all don't forget, it's getting close. It's September 21st. I'm going to be in Jasper, Georgia with Jackie at Ruth and Ruby from 10 to 3. We want all of y'all to come out and join us that day and have some fun.